Okay, now we're going to talk about how Voronoi diagrams work. Okay, so here's an example of a Voronoi diagram. And before we really get started, there's certain definitions we need to have. So a site is where the points are located. So these points are called sites. Okay, and the cell is the space where the site is closest to. So everything in this blue space is closest to site A. Okay, and this blue space is called cell A. If you've got some highlighters, you may want to color it like I've done. Okay, lines that separate the cells are called edges. So all of these lines are edges. Okay, and these edges are an equal distance from point B to point C, or from point C to A. Okay, these lines are, and if I'm right in the middle right here, this would be a midpoint between A and C. Okay, and these points right here that are an equal distance from 3 points are called vertices. Okay, and the vertices will always intersect at 1 point between 3 points of a Voronoi diagram. Okay, so let's look at this example here. Consider the Voronoi diagram for this picture here. Identify the sites that are closest. So if I've got 2, 3, 2, 3 is up here, and you can see that I'm in the cell that has B in it. Okay, -1, -4, -1, -4 is right there, so you can see that that point is in D. 6, 0 is right there, so if I've got a point here, I'm in site. I'm in cell C, and -4, -3 is right there. So this point right here that I'm pointing at, you can see is in cell A. Okay. So verify that -3, 0 is an equal distance from A and D. So basically what you do is you can use the distance formula, and you can see it's going up 1/2. Here this is going up 1/2. Those distances are the same. To calculate that distance, we learned earlier the differences of the x. So the x value change is 2, and the y value change is 1. So the change in the x squared plus the change in the y squared is going to give me the distance. Change in the x is 2, change in the y is 1. So I end up with square root of 2 squared is 4, 1 plus 1 squared is 1. So that's going to give me the square root of 5. Okay, so the distance from this yellow point to A is square root of 5, and from this point to D is square root of 5 distance. Okay, you may want to hit pause to look at C and D. Okay, explain why 3, 0 lies on the edge. Okay, 3, 0 is where? 3, oh sorry, -3, 0. -3, 0 is right there. Okay, and it's an equally close site to A and D, hence it lies on the edge. And this -3, 2, -3, 2 is it's not on an edge because the closest site to it is B. And so since it's closer to B, it's not on an edge. Okay. And to find the area of the cell D, we use the formula for the area of a triangle, 1/2 base times height. The base here is 8, the height here is 8, so the area is 32. Okay, in the Voronoi diagram alongside, suppose point A lies in cell A and point PB lies in cell B. So discuss whether the statement is true. Point A is closer to A than any other site. So if this lies in cell A, it's going to be closer to A than anything else. This is true. Point B is going to be closer to B than to C. Now, point A is closer to this point than to point B. That's not necessarily true, because what if point A, or what if point A, and here's site A, what if point A is like way over here, right? Is this closer to A than A is closer to point B than it is to point B. So if A was over here, site A could be closer to point B, couldn't it? Okay, that's why this one's maybe. And same thing, if point B is like way over here. Oh no, it would have to be over here, right? Way over here, point B. Then it's possible B could be closer to C than it is to point B. So that's why these are maybe. You may want to hit pause and think about that again. Okay. Question 7. Identify which of these points is close to which site. You may want to hit pause and check your answers. Which school is -1, 4 closest to? It's right there, closest to D. If I move 1 kilometer to the east, then we're going to be here at 0, 4. And as you can see on the diagram, now I'm closer to site A. Okay, so this new school is closer to site A because I can do the change in the X. If I use those coordinates using distance formula, 3 minus 0 squared plus 6 minus 4 squared, I'm going to end up with 3 squared plus 2 squared. And so the distance is going to be the square root of 13 from this point to site A. From that point to site D, I can do -4 minus 0 squared plus 5 minus 4 squared. So that's going to give me 16 squared plus 1 squared, which is the square root of 17. So the distance from the new school to D is the square root of 17, which is further away than the square root of 13. You may want to hit pause and think about that. Okay. There you go. There's the answers.